Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today. I hope you're doing very well. My name's Mark. It's always good to be here for a shave, and today I'm going to be using a vintage Goodwill razor from the 1930s. You can see it up on the window ledge there. I'm going to be using a new razor blade today, and it is one of these classics Extreme Platinum blades. I bought them recently, and this will be the first time that I've used one. It is a super platinum blade. I generally like super platinum blades and find them to be very smooth, and indeed I was asked to recommend some blades that I find smooth, so I'll do that towards the end of the video. For my shaving brush today, I've got my little Macy friendship shaving brush made in 2019 for the channel by Frank Shaves. They're all gone, I think, now, but I'm going to use mine today, and the soap I've got is almost my last of a sample of Santa Maria del Fiore from Razorock. This is their flagship soap, and I've bowl lathered today, so we'll just get that straight on. My face was already damp. This is a very nice scented soap. It has hints of tobacco, vanilla and amber, and in the background it has eucalyptus and menthol, and I couldn't use this for a long time. In fact, all Razorock soaps, as I've talked about before, used to irritate my skin. But I was kindly sent this sample as it was a new formula, slightly different ingredients, and it seems okay on me, so very pleased with that. I'll just smooth that out with a drop of water on the brush. It's going to be nice to have a relaxing shave today, as opposed to one that wasn't very relaxing when I was using the Parker Shavette. If you've seen that video, you'll know what I'm talking about. Quite a few fellas mentioned that they didn't get on with that Shavette and that it was quite aggressive, so thank you guys. I'm glad it's not just me. There's a little story behind this razor. Here it is. This is a British flat-bottomed Goodwill razor. Take it apart and put the blade in. They are very few and far between, these razors. Here we are. Let's I hold it up. If you've not seen one of these Goodwills before, it's got the reverse posts, and the blade sits very nicely on there. They are a bit fiddly, but I like them. I think these are long combed. Goodwill razors. There we are. You can see the long comb along here, rather than the shorter version which stops about there where my nail is. I think they're a very nice shave. Not used this before. I've had it for about 2 years, and I have to say, guys, when I got it, I was so disappointed with the plating on it. that I put it in my drawer, and it's been there for 2 years. I got this, I was emailed by a gentleman. Let me tell you the story behind me getting it. I was emailed by a gentleman in Australia. He said, I've got one of these. I'm going to have it plated. And would you be interested in buying it? Now, I have a little collection of Goodwills. And I thought, yeah, that would be really cool. Well, it cost me £80, I suppose. It was going to be newly plated, and that was being done in New Zealand. There used to be a gentleman that lived in the UK, and we're going back a long time now. He was really well thought of. Replated razors, and that gentleman moved to New Zealand. So it was apparently this gentleman that was going to do the replating. Anyway, when I got it, the plating was so thick that all the detail on the handle was practically gone, and I know you won't see it so much on the video. I've spent ages polishing that handle, not to make it shiny, but just to remove some of that plating. And the same with the head cap. The head cap actually had a wave on it. It went like this. I don't think that was necessarily the thickness of the nickel plating. I think somebody took the old plating off and then polished the head cap using a Dremel or something of that nature, which left grooves in the head cap. And then when that plating went on and it was really thick, it just went over what was there. So that's a story anyway, and it turns out it is a very good shaver. As all Goodwills are, it's not the smoothest one I've got. But it is a very easy shave, and I know I'm going to get a really good shave from this. Now, these razors were bought out in 1931. And it was the first time Gillette used the promotion that you would get a free razor when you purchased a pack of blades. God blimey, that is a nice first pass. So they made a variety of these Goodwills, but this flat-bottomed Goodwill is, what's the word I'm looking for? It is one that was, I think, only made in the UK. I have a standard UK Goodwill, British Goodwill, an American one, a Canadian one, and I've looked into the Goodwills, but I think this flat-bottomed version which to me seems to have a bottom. Well, a little bit like the text, the British text that we used later on with that flat base. Anyway, seems to be only in the UK. So yes, an interesting time to produce this razor for Gillette. It came out 2 years into the Depression. In 1931, as I said, and we mustn't forget, of course, that the Great Depression after the 1929 Wall Street crash, it took about 12 years for the world's economy to recover from it. And also during the 1930s, of course, in the US was what is referred to as the Dust Bowl years, where there was severe drought and huge areas of the middle of America lost crops, and the soil was just turned to dust with the heat. I was looking earlier today up at these great black storms with clouds of dust, you know, 4 times higher than your house. Absolutely. But it was frightening. No food, extreme poverty. So, what a time, eh? What a time. But yes, Gillette came out with that promotion and they've more or less stuck with it ever since, haven't they? Very interesting. It must have worked for them. At the time, they were trying to promote a new razor blade, and you know, it is the type of razor blade that we use today with that centre slot. And of course, what they wanted to do by giving away the free razor was have people buy their new blades, rather than the old blades that used to have 3 holes in for the old type razors. Oh my goodness, I'm getting a good shave here, guys. Well, there we go. I've got my Goodwill. I'm getting a good shave, even though I didn't like it. I've even tried to reduce the top down, but I've got some copper coming through there. I've got a couple of different shades of nickel coming through there, a little bit of brass. And as I say, it wasn't done by Chris at Backroads Gold, who I think is just phenomenal. But of course now, after having spent £80 on, well, it is a rare razor, but I wouldn't say it was going to sell for a lot of money. But after spending £80, I'm kind of loath to spend any more on it. I mean, I just don't think it would be worth it. So, I'm going to stick with it and just use it. I have to say, it is a little bit aggressive. But it is the first time I've used it, so perhaps just not quite used to the angle. I do like my other Goodwills. They are were the Goodwills and the Longcomb new razors. I think are a very nice razor, but this one, being British, seems to be a little more aggressive than some of the others, and I believe that is the case with a few of these older British made Gillettes. But suffice to say, I am having a much better shave than my last Shavette shave. Yeah, lovely. A 3-pass shave with this one today. Not a 2-pass. This soap is smelling very nice. Now guys, to completely change the subject, my friend Sven sent me an email today, and he noticed that Above the Tie are indeed closing down. I'm very sorry to read that they're closing down. I think they have been a fantastic company. Mariah, who I have dealt with, I mean, she works in the healthcare industry. And then she was coming home from work to do all the stuff that needed doing for Above the Tie, for their little company. Yeah, really sorry, but they are going. So they have indeed got a closing down sale on their website. There are a few items left there. I was just looking today at aluminium brush, Best Badger brush. I think it was $9 instead of $35, something like that. One of their aluminium Windsor razors, the Windsor Pro. I can't remember whether it was the Windsor or the Windsor Pro. So my apologies for that, but you know, it was £28 instead of $45. So there are a few items still there. And if you are thinking about it, don't dilly-dally, because they will be gone soon enough, I think. Now, that was a great shave. I'm going to use a little bit of alum today. Let's see if I get a little bit of a tingle. Oh yeah, a little bit. So I have had a close shave. One thing I forgot to say, and I was kindly reminded in the comments last week, so thank you to that gentleman. One thing I forgot to say was that alum is antiseptic. Yeah, do you know, there's not much tingle in there, just a little either side of my neck there, a little bit around my mouth there. So, but a very close, very good shade. We dab that dry. Now, because the Razorock soap has eucalyptus in it, I'm going to use Parasso Green today. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to just talk about a few blades that I like, that I find to be very smooth. This one wasn't particularly smooth, but it may have been because of that razor, so I will have to try them in a different razor. The blades I like are, as I said, predominantly super platinums. They tend to be a little less sharp than some of the known sharpest blades, and I find them a little bit more comfortable. So ones I like are Super Shave X. They are a very nice blade indeed. Just lately I've been using the Gentleman razor blades. I do like the 7 o'clock blacks from India. As I won't buy the Russian ones anymore. I do like the Treat Platinum blades I've been using recently. I think they're very acceptable as well, and I particularly like the Topaz Super Platinum. And of course then there are the Winner razor blades. Got a packet of those in the den, all sealed up. There we go. They are a very nice blade. And the Willys razor blade, that despite the name are a brilliant razor blade for me. So there are a few that you can look out for. I'm sure there are others as well. So perhaps if you know some, you might comment and let everybody know. That's it from me. Thank you for joining me for what was a pretty good shave with an old Depression era razor. Thanks for joining me. You take good care now. All the very best. See you soon.